College. I'm founder of studentloanjustice.org, ALANCOLLINGE. And the reason I'm here, well, first of all, the student loan system has grown out of control. We now owe $1.4 trillion, where 10 years ago we only owed about $350 billion. So we've added $1 trillion over the past 10 years. And neither the Republicans or the Democrats in Congress have done anything. The problem has got worse over the past 10 years since I started working on this issue. 10 years ago, I ended up getting featured top story on 60 Minutes, and the banks refused to be interviewed for the piece. So about a month after that, Senator Hillary Clinton, sat down with me and my guys, and we banged that, and we wrote a bill together, which she introduced into the Senate, the Student Borrower Bill of Rights. It was a good bill. It would have done a number of things to return standard consumer protections to student loans. But I have to say, over the past 10 years, Hillary has taken 2, if not 3 steps backwards, away from the students and towards the banks and even the Department of Education, quite frankly.
But isn't she talking about free education, college and all that right now?
Well, she talks about it, but I've looked at her plan, and her plan wouldn't reduce borrowing significantly at all. In fact, it may actually even increase lending and borrowing to students. They talk about free tuition. A college can reduce its tuition to 0, but it can jack up its other fees. It can jack up its dormitory housing prices, its healthcare fees, and so forth. And what it looks like to me is this Hillary plan was just really another big pot of money for the schools to go to. It won't bring down the cost of college. It will return none of the consumer protections, and it won't do anything for the 44 million people already out there in the country with unmanageable debt.
So what do you think, as a collective United States, as people, progressive people, what is it that we should be doing right now?
Well, if there's going to be any lending system at all, and that's debatable, but if there is, at a minimum, they must return the standard consumer protections that exist for every other type of loan. They must return bankruptcy protections. They must return statutes of limitations. They must return fair debt collection practices, truth in lending laws. All of those things have been specifically removed by Congress under the corrupt influence of the banks and even the Department of Education, quite frankly. The federal government profits $50 billion a year on the student loan program. And that's just unconscionable. It's a predatory lending system. It's got to end.
So you're from Tacoma originally, right?
Tacoma.
How'd you get to Philadelphia?
Well, I went to college in Southern California. I went to college in California. I moved back to Washington after graduation. I got deeply invested in the student loan issue 10 years ago, and I ultimately moved to Washington, D.C. about a year ago to fight this full time with nothing more than support from donations across the country.
Okay, well, when I get back, this video is going back to Washington State. What would you like me to tell those folks back in our home?
Patty Murray, Maria Cantwell, all the new congressmen on both the left and right half of the mountains, you must pay attention to this issue. It's not getting smaller, it's getting much bigger. And if you thought Occupy Wall Street was alarming, you ain't seen nothing yet if you don't deal with this predatory state-sponsored lending problem. Jay Inslee, I know you're a good guy. I know he is. The states need to take a stand for the citizenry because the federal government has not.
So how do you feel now that you may not know this, but the governor, all the people from Washington, Maria Cantwell, all of them are super delegates for Hillary Clinton?
It disturbs me greatly, I have to say. I become more disgusted with every election cycle that I see go by. I'm in the city of Tacoma, Washington many years ago. The city kicked out, they fired the entire city council and started fresh. It can happen in Tacoma, it can happen in the United States.
It can happen nationally is what you're saying,
Wipe
right?
the slate is kind of what I've been thinking. I love Norm Dix, good guy, he's retired now, but I love my congressman, but hey, if you guys aren't fighting for the people, it's time to go.
Would you like me to get this to Maria Cantwell?
I would love that.
Because she's in the House, she's over there in the convention, so is Jay Inslee, so is everybody else.
I would love that.
And so if I get the opportunity, I will put this out, even if it's just email it to her. But I appreciate you saying what you really truly believe and standing up for the students, right? Because this is really true. This is what he's talking about, right? StudentLoanJustice.org. So, StudentLoanJustice.org. So I'm an advocate for anybody who's doing what you're doing, just like the Truth Booth over there.
I may have to go over there. That sounds pretty
it's pretty neat. You know how it works?
Not really.
Well, they got a tent. They open the curtain, right? And you go inside, and there's a microphone on a bench, on a chair,
okay,
and a little button, a screen with a record button and a camera, and you get in there and say any damn thing you want.
Oh, I love that.
You can say anything you want. You should go, because they take this program and it goes worldwide, and they're coming to Washington State in September. I invited them to come down to Walla Walla.
Okay.
But I want you to know that you can have a copy of this. Just give me your information,
sure.
Right? And I'll promote this. We're very serious, and we got a lot of delegates nationally and around the country who we're trying to link up and actually figure out what our next step is. Yeah. Right? Because we know this is going downhill.
I think this is the beginning. I think this is the revolution, my friend.
Oh, it is the revolution. And the revolution will be televised this time.
Yeah.
I don't think the people really understand up there what's happening down here on the ground. And you're a perfect example, and I've seen examples all over this park. I've talked to Black Lives Matter, I've talked to Native Americans, I've talked to a lot of people interviewing-wise, and they're all telling me the same damn thing that I feel. So I really appreciate you taking your time to take this little interview and do this for me, because I'm going to make sure that it gets back out for you and help your organization as well by sharing it with all the people I know. And we're going to take the information and spread it across the country and as many people as we can get into. I got an interview tonight with Heart Radio.
Oh, good.
Right? And so if I can remember everything, I'll put this in there.
Sure.
Okay?
I appreciate it, man.
You're welcome. Thank you very much.
I'm really glad to have met you. Here's one of my